Referee today is Sean Hampstead, and the video referee is Doug Winton. So Newcastle from right to left, knowing that they've got a very tough run home to the end of the season, and it's Carroll on the first kick return for South Sydney. Penalty immediately from the whistle of Sean Hampstead against the Newcastle defenders. Fletcher was one of them, and the other was Clinton O'Brien. Just holding him down too long, particularly Fletcher. And South Sydney finding the line with the use of the first penalty coming from the first tackle of the game. And again, it's Carroll. And players go left, right and centre. Garlick at acting half. This is Parsons, who in a beaten side, or should I say a humbled side last weekend, he was quite good. Now O'Neill running off a pass from Trimble. Out to wing. Craig Wing is able to unload. Gets the pass away for Caruana, and Caruana it is that is brought down about 35 metres out from the Newcastle line. First blood would be handy for South Sydney. James Smith is the player tackled in the centre of the park. He's 30 metres out from the line, and now it's with Trindle. Trindle across for O'Neill. O'Neill working away from that eastern touchline, and players responding by coming in, but nothing came of it. Now with Trindle, steps. He beats the would-be tackle of Jason Moody. There's a charge down, and it comes down for Craigie for Newcastle. And the Knights will bring it away with their first touch of the football to the 30-metre line, with O'Davis combining, and the ball across to Hughes, and now on to McDougall on the left wing, and he's pulled down right on the halfway line.
And a very good counter-attack there from Newcastle. Robbie O'Davis took the ball forward, saw that there was some space out to the left-hand side, and they finally got the ball out to Adam McDougall, who picked up, 10 or 15 metres carrying those three defenders, and then got his side a penalty.
Well, all that was happening, Newcastle were forced to make a replacement. Troy Fletcher limping from the field over towards the bench. So the penalties level the match in its infancy as Butterfield playing his 201st first-grade game for the Knights in this game today. And now it's Matthew Johns turning it back in for Bill Peden, and Peden will play the ball. 15 out from the line, and they come to the left to the western side. Andrew Johns will score. Andrew Johns is under the black dot. South Sydney stood off him, watched him, and then the brilliance of Andrew Johns was under the bar. Newcastle 4, South Sydney no score in the early minutes of the game. And
the great players in this game, they make the difficult look easy. Mark Carroll did not come up in the line there. That left a little gap, and Andrew Johns, he just put the foot down, took the defence on, the left foot step. Carroll arrived too late. Garlick was clutching it mid-air. Parsons tried to stop the half-back from scoring. But we talked about the importance of South Sydney getting a good start, the same as applied to the home team, and that's what they've done.
That's awful defence there from South Sydney. One place where your defence has got to be rock solid is in your 10-metre zone, and that was just tragic.
So Andrew converts his own try, the highest point scorer in Knights history. This is the last coming up for the red and greens, and a charge down from Newcastle is quite legitimate. Hughes it was that picked it up and scooped it away back on the inside. Very good work by Danny Medeiros in the first place. Now Matthew Johns, look at that pass, beautifully taken by Bill Peden, and Peden is tackled on the South Sydney 20-metre line. One gets the impression this very acceptable crowd is going to get some high entertainment here today. Lomax, 15 out from the line, the centre of the park. O'Brien it is. Everybody's got to step up to the plate now. Hughes for Matthew Johns. Puts a grubber in, O'Davis will score. There's try number 2, beautiful stuff. And as I said, the Wizards are at play today. And when that is the case, you get high rugby league entertainment.
He frees it there. You can see that he's just had a look to see where his support players are. That's Andrew Johns, but he sees Robbie O'Davis out wide, and he sees the space in behind here. Fleeting moment, just drops it through. And Robbie O'Davis, well, he goes through untouched. Clinton O'Brien, I thought, was very good against Brisbane last week, and that's one of the reasons that he's important to this team, the second phase that he opens up.
And I suppose it all dates back, Paul, to Danny Badiris, actually. His involvement in charging it down and the ball coming down for Mark Hughes. Look at this kick.
Oh, beautiful start there from Matthew Johns and Robbie O. Well, easy pickings for him. But, yeah, I mean, Daryl Trindle, too long to kick the football. It really cut down his time, and he'll have to either stand back further or... That's a second charge down, actually, in the first 5 minutes.
Andrew Johns, 12 in from touch, 20 metres out from the eastern side, and this one he's got coming around beautifully. A further 2 points to his total. Newcastle comfortable and looking classical after 8 minutes, leading 12 points to 0.
And the conversion successful to Andrew Johns. Involved 9-12, Justin Hill here at Marathon.
Neil back to halfway. And he's put it out on the fall. So the errors continue for South Sydney. A terrible start for them.
That didn't just go out on the full. That landed about 7 or 8 metres over the sideline.
So Andrew Johns finding the line with that kick that went... That was the kickoff actually that went out on the full, and as Peter said, it almost landed up at Charleston. Now Butterfield. Badiris. O'Brien. He's already shown that he can stand and offload. You've got to shut the ball down, put him down if you can. Rudder runs at the gap. And that's where they are, running towards the Ganiman Hill end of the ground. Matthew again, stepping off the right foot, putting it back onto Rudder. And again, South Sydney under pressure and looking vulnerable. As Matthew Johns scoops a pass back for Badiris. Badiris for Rudder. Rudder's over the line and got it down. Base over apex. Is it Billy Peden or Rudder?
Yeah, it's Billy Peden, Ray. A lock forward. He's one of the unsung heroes. We sing his praises fairly regularly during our telecasts, and the referee Hampstead has gone to the video replay to see whether Billy Peden, number 13, gets this ball down. Jason Nichols in attendance. That's fine. That's the third in what, 10 minutes.
Look for the green, Newcastle, look for the green.
Doug Winton, video referee, seeing what you have seen at home. And 16-0 in favour of Newcastle.
Well, South have paid the ultimate price for kicking out on the full. 4 tackles later, it's the Knights attacking under the sticks, and Billy Peden just put the head down. It all started with some beautiful work there from Matthew Johns. And it's just a simple run to the line. Good work once again, linking work from Badiris. And South's defence once again couldn't hold on.
Conversion again from Andrew Johns. He's had a simple day so far. Andrew Johns holding it back. McDougall a fan. Then he thought about getting a pass inside, pulled it back. Mark Hughes is there for acting half work. Now Andrew Johns puts a kick back on the right. O'Davis is after it, but South Sydney are there and they force it in goal. Through the number 5, which is Chris Caruana. Newcastle's run home over the last 3 weekends. It's not easy, is it? St George Illawarra. Sydney City at home. That will help. And then, of course, Auckland away. Further emphasising the importance of this match today. And, of course, that match next Friday, because they'll be up against an opposition that will be equally desperate. And, of course, the danger coming out of the ruck is Canberra, who have a relatively easy draw. Matthew Johns to the 10-metre line. Trying to get a quick play of the ball on, but couldn't. Badiris. And Danny Badiris is over the line. Sean Hampstead wants to take a look, but I think he's put it down on the line. And really, if any of these tries have been soft, this is the one that really is. Some of this defence is very ordinary on Badiris.
Yeah, this is tontine stuff. It's just embarrassing almost. But Badiris had no right to score this try, and it is a try because he's got that football down on the line. He had control of it, and he's just gone straight through Carroll. Well, hang on, I don't want to go off too soon, but I think there's enough of the ball that's touched the line. Let's have a look at another angle. Carries Rodwell over.
So Andrew Johns, another converted try. They got the perfect set. 24 points to nil after half an hour of play. 24-0, 4 converted tries, unanswered. And the threat that there's more to come. Andrew Johns got it away. Medeiros backs him up. Beautiful pass by Andrew Johns.
Oh, don't want to go too early. I think Medeiros falconed himself there, Ray.
Now the kick through. There's a chance for McDougall. McDougall's over for another try. It is a try fest. Newcastle are absolutely on fire. South Sydney cannot answer them. 28-0.
Well, Andrew Johns gets a miraculous pass away. He's almost on the ground here. And Danny Medeiros, it's a falcon all right. There it is. Yeah, just balance it on the head. And he meant to do it too. Don't worry about that.
The falcon of the year, that one.
And then, again, the vision of the kicker is just tremendous here. The call to the left-hand side, they all want it that way. You can see that the south line is all up in one line. And McDougall had the speed to get around the back of both Caruana and Hookie to score the try.
Well, how good are they? I mean, their form, they've been in and out the last month or so. And we saw them up here at the Paul Harrigan testimonial night last Tuesday night. And in talking to them, they're very determined to get back on track, and spoke to Coach Warren Ryan. He said, we'll need a big game against South Sydney on Sunday, and, well, they've turned it all around, and, 28-0.
I think they've come here today well and truly prepared to go on with things.
So Andrew Johns with his most difficult kick. I think he's got it. Yes, he has. It's a beauty. 30 points to nil after 32 minutes. 30 points to nil, 5 unanswered tries. A kick through from Andrew Johns. Mark Carroll got a touch on it. The pass for Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes has got McDougall outside him. He'll stay on his inside. McDougall goes back to him, and Hughes is eventually tackled. A metre from the line. It's not over yet. O'Davis for Andrew Johns, and over they go for Billy Peden, but it's gone forward. Well, I got to say, the pass way back down the ground to Mark Hughes, I thought was forward. And eventually the final pass here has been ruled that way. It all started here. And it was the pass from Peden to Mark Hughes that I thought was forward. The back was broken of South Sydney. McDougall, Hughes, his run is snuffed out, almost in touch with the try line, and then he's ruled that that pass was forward, which I found rather hard to believe. Billy Peden feels cheated of his second try, but the scoreboard is there, 30 points to nil, no try for the Newcastle Knights on half-time. We will take a break and be back, hoping that South Sydney can do something to get back into the game in the second half.
First 8 days, if your player wins 2 sets in a row, we'll pay you out as a winner straight away. 2 sets in a row, you win with Sportsbet.
Gamble responsibly.
Full service history and extra 1-year warranty.
We're on!
Toyota certified. Pre-owned in a class of its own. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
What do you think, Whitney?
Maybe.
It's got to have a hook.
I'll give it a hook. Music has no boundaries. I sing what I want to sing and reach as big an audience as I can.
I want to dance with somebody in cinemas now.
Hair loss? Consult Advanced Hair Studios Clinic and regain a full head of hair, as did cricket legends Jacques Kallis and Sourav Ganguly and tennis legend Pat Cash.
I love my hair then, still do, and that's why I'm seeing Advanced Hair Clinic. Their amazingly effective treatments have stopped my hair loss and regenerated hair where I was losing it.
Advanced Hair Clinic. They're the world champions in hair restoration. Call Advanced Hair Studio now.
he just...
He did.
Cool.
Hilux, an unbreakable connection. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Matthew John standing very, very wide, and Hughes was tackled about 7 metres out from the South Sydney line. South Sydney well inside the 5 at that scrum. Now Bill Beaton takes it to ground right in the centre. Davis positions himself over to the right outside Andrew Johns. Johns runs up the line and puts it over. Well, this has now become more than embarrassing. Andrew Johns just simply put the foot down and ran through them.
Well, I don't know what more you can say about this player and this defence. You can just see on the outside, I think it was Matt Parsons moved up too quickly. Player on the inside didn't get to Johns. And it's just too simple. In Matt Parsons' defence, he did slip a little bit. A pretty innocuous attempt there from Jason Nichol as well.
Now, all those South players, when they ran up off the line, looking at the players in front of them rather than the man with the football.
And his goal kicking has been without flaw. Remains that way, and we love you, Joey. 36 points to 0, the Knights over the Rabbits. Andrew Johns then pushing it along the line. Matthew with a lofted pass taken by Craigie. Craigie is taken by Lumans. He gets away from him. Rodwell pulls him down. 5-4 the penalties then in favour of the home side as Butterfield takes them on up the middle. Andrew Johns just leaning down, taking in what was a difficult pass, but he seemed to make it look easy. Rahihi was involved in that previous play, and now Matthew puts it out the back for Butterfield to loft a pass over for Andrew Johns to go through a gap. He's inside the 20, he's come to the 10, up comes O'Davis, and Robbie takes the plaudits. Robbie O'Davis goes in for try number 2, but even that try has got Andrew Johns written right across it.
Yeah, Joey Johns is having all sorts of trouble with that groin. It's a major problem for him. He just steps through again. Tony Butterfield takes the pass from Matthew Johns. Butts cuts out 3 players, and Johns just puts the big step on Tony Iro. Draws Tim Brasher. Robbie O'Davis gets another one.
McDougall. Gritty run by McDougall, not over either as far as Newcastle concerned. Andrews in there again, lofted pass, finding Moody, and a foot race between him and Trindle was Moody tackled eventually by Lumen. Badeiras, Trindle had to back off, he was inside the 10. 22 metres away from the Rabbits line. Matthew Johns wide for Mark Hughes. Now McDougall back on the inside throw Davis. He puts it back on the ground and Hampstead rules that it went forward. Andrew with a little kick. He's looking for the regather. The bounce is important. Oh, he puts a bat on it. Now Craigie puts it inside. Matthew puts it outside. Craigie puts the ball over the shoulder. Then a flick pass. Have a look at this for Razzle Dazzle. Now Andrew puts a kick across. They're going to score. They're going to put it down. They are going to score. That is a miraculous try. That is beautiful. That is entertainment. Forget about the scoreboard. Have a look at them now. The entertainers. Well, rock-a-bye, baby. Rock-a-bye, baby.
Last tackle here. He's playing handball. Andrew Johns. Owen Craigie's been good this arvo. Haven't seen much of him in first grade the last couple of months, and it's just flick passes, kick. Let's see what we can do. That one just over the head of Hookie. Well, he can't believe it. He was 50 metres away from all the razzle-dazzle.
This is the start of it. The bat down. I'm trying to count the number of hands. I think it's up to 5 at the moment. There's 6. Now 7. Well, yeah, 7, and then this will complete it. Only 8 sets of hands, but just some unbelievable rugby league.
Well, imagine being Warren Ryan. He must sit in the box, watch this, and just even marvel at what he's seeing in front of him. incredible stuff from these very talented lads.
That is a record for Andrew Johns. Most number of points by a Knight in the history of the club. He's broken his own record by converting the try. 48 points to nil. Good luck to you boys. 65 gone.
4 points in the one game to Andrew Johns. Well done.
Fifth tackle for South, and they're on their own 20-metre line as O'Neill puts the kick in for Robbie O'Davis. The confidence has become, if you like, cockiness more than confidence now. Glenn Griefman. Out the back for O'Davis. Living up in amongst the play, living close to the football. Previous record for Andrew was 23 points. It's now 24, and he's got that record before he was taken from the field or told to take a rest, basically. This is Lomax now on tackle 5. The Knights looking for another. Matthew Johns puts the kick over and across, and did he get it down? Did he get it down on the far side of the ground? It's Mark Hughes. Sean Hampstead has got no doubt, pointing to the spot, and Newcastle have cracked the half-century.
Yeah, so Andrew Johns gets on the sideline, has a rest, and Matthew takes over. Little kick, just, that's amazing play for Caruana. Did not even watch the football. He's had a good game, and did Mark Hughes ground the football properly?
Yeah, there's a bit of doubt about that, Paul. And you're right about Chris Caruana. Like, it had to be a try because he was just setting himself to make a tackle, and the tackle was always going to be made over the try line. I think that shot does show that Mark Hughes does get the football down fairly. Yeah, that's no problems at all.
I think he's got it. Oh, he has. It's a golden day for the Knights. 54-0 blocker. Everything's happening for them.
Oh, they're sensations, aren't they? They can put the ball on a 5-cent piece. Matthew Johns this time. Great play there from Hughes. And what about the kick? Craigie. And have a look at him after. I don't know what it is, a goose step or a hop or whatever, but he does a little dance for the crowd. Whoa!
Looks like Rabbit's normal walk.
To the blind side they come for Matthew Johns to go back into the middle. Bill Beaton, then back and away for Daniel Badeiros. A flick pass then for Owen Craigie. Craigie kicks out for Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes is thinking about number 3. Bats the ball down for Rudder, but he's in front of him. Ball went forward. Solid defence there from Rahihi and Butterfield. South didn't need this, but Newcastle certainly did. They were coming off that loss to Brisbane, which would have deflated them a bit last weekend. This will help their confidence as Brasher puts the kick down the ground, then leads the chase. Everybody's onside, and Brasher digging deep to find some enthusiasm. O'Davis running it back.
Well, it's been good for them because days like today, you see players run into form, don't you? And the Johns boys have come back to their best. Mark Hughes, Owen Craigie, Robbie O, all playing great football. You look at the side they've got out there today, it is the team that will go into the semi-finals. They've only got Matthew Gidley to return. So, you know, Warren and I would be ecstatic with this performance, and so would the players.
Paul, I think even more importantly, the blokes up front have got the job done. There's never been any doubt about those players that you mentioned having the ability and the confidence to do what we've seen this afternoon. But I think, you know, guys like Rudder, Fletcher, certainly Badeiros has been outstanding. They'll be the key players in the coming weeks to set the platform for this class back line.
I think that's the area. Beautiful pass by Rahihi. It didn't help Jason Moody, I suppose, in his endeavours to stay in the field of play, but it was still a good pass from Rahihi. Blocker, that's the area that you fancy might come back to haunt Newcastle. Today there's been some good signs, though. We're talking about the Pigs and their aggression.
Yeah, well, as Paul Harrigan said, they've been very strong today, but, mate, I've got to say the opposition hasn't been that strong. They've been poor, haven't they? Especially around the ground at marker. They've had plenty of luck running from dummy half, and that's where it all started. The Newcastle Knights, they just really paved the way early in the match.
Hookie getting a pass away. Brasher coming back. evading players before giving it to O'Neill. O'Neill across the park for Slot, and he's pulled down by Craigie. Just a minute and 20 seconds to go. 34 missed tackles now for the Rabbits, as big Ian Rubin puts on a step in the middle of the park. A minute and a quarter really for Newcastle to defend their try line, and that will be exactly what they're going to do now, because Moody plays it, and barring some errors, or barring an error, they will play the game out, with that being the first tackle. The previous was the 0. Butterfield floating it, Matthew giving it, Rudder's with the ball, and Rudder is tackled on the halfway line. 40 seconds of this history-breaking match for Newcastle to go. The biggest winning margin by a Newcastle side in their short history, and a personal record of points for Andrew Johns in this game today, breaking his own record. Moody on the outside, picking up Craigie, who has to do the hurdle, then tries to bump them away. He'll be held 10 metres away from the line. 15 seconds out from full time. Badira's for Matthew John. Puts in the kick. Mark Hughes will score. Mark Hughes gets number 3. A perfect kick by Matthew Johns. It is try number 10 for Newcastle. 58-0 with the kick to come. And a very pleased Newcastle side, no doubt.
We know that Newcastle have the best record scoring tries off kicks, but it's been oh so easy. Look at the South Sydney defence. The winger is about 20 metres infield. The Sydney Swans could have done with this last night, the precision of the kicking game this afternoon for the Knights. And Matthew Johns, well, he's just been absolutely wonderful, but that's... Mark Hughes must be almost embarrassed to get that one.
Well, the kick is alive and well, the short kick in rugby league, and they scored what must be 3 or 4 tries from this tactic today. And Mark Hughes, I think that's his 3rd for the day. He's had a picnic out there.
We'd like to request the call leading for setting to do so in a quiet and orderly manner.
And Joey Johns, here goes the ice bags. To hell with the groin and to hell with the ice bag.
And we also remind patrons it is an offence to remove alcohol.
Tremendous day, enjoyed here by the Newcastle fans and by the players. And that's something they have in common. The fans and the players, they really enjoy their rugby league. Their record win over Souths was 30-0 back in 1997. They have doubled that with a 60-0 thrashing of the great South Sydney club here today in front of almost 22,000 people.